With the second pick in the first round of the 2021 OHL priority selection, the Oshawa Generals select Calum Ritchie from Buckley Rangers U16.
We're thrilled to get Calum, and being a lottery, we no team has any control over it, but we couldn't be happier to have been able to get Calum in this draft. And we knew when we were picking second, we were going to get a good player, but to get Calum, I think is is an answer to a lot of our wishes. He's a centerman by nature. He's got some size. He's got some he's got some weight to him. Some young kids are slight, and they're a young kid. And I think when you see Calum on the ice, you're not sure. You'd say no, he's not 16. So that's encouraging. He's got the hockey IQ that we think is conducive to be a star in this league. He skates really well. He can shoot. He's got a great stick. So, without mounting the pressure on this kid coming in, that we're thrilled to death to have him, and we're thankful that we're lucky enough to get that second overall pick.
With the 19th selection in the second round of the 2021 OHL priority selection, the Oshawa Generals select Matthew Buckley from the Navigrads U18.
Well, it's twofold, and it goes with maybe a little bit of digging. Matt was back home and playing in Eastern Ontario this year with Navan, as you said, but him and Calum have a little bit of history together. They played together, I guess it was 2 years prior, and Matt received an injury that broke that up for that year. But there's a little chemistry there that I'm sure at some point we're going to see rekindled again here. So, again, we think Matt's a dynamic forward that has the ability to see the ice. He can score. He's not a shy young guy like where he gets huge amount of goals and no assists. Usually the points are pretty level. So I think the fact going into it with the small sample size of Cal and Matt together, and and seeing another year of progression of Matt, I think that made that choice for us really simple to make. So there's is it fair to say a dynamic duo come a few games or weeks or years in this league, but I think we've got two really solid players that are going to complement the Harrisons and the Tulios that have come before them.
The Oshawa Generals select Luca Morelli from the Mississauga Reps U16.
Well, I think again we went with skill, and having some gaps in our draft grid. Certainly, when we got an opportunity to get Luca where we did, we felt as though it was a fortunate thing. He's got some skill. We just like his style of play. He can move pucks, but he's not just an offensive. He can be good in his own end. Again, he's got an active stick, skates well, good mobility, side to side, and certainly, following the first two forwards, that I think our philosophy is to always take the best player, and we felt certainly trying to get into some defensemen there. We really liked the opportunity to get Luca where we did get him, and again, there's a big part of our future with those three picks. I think we're like the other 19 teams. I think we've done a great job. I really do, under some trying circumstances. I always like our scouts' ability to find a guy, somewhere in the mid-draft, some late in the draft. And this year being so unique, it was certainly trying on them, certainly. But I really like our picks. And, we're not that far away from seeing them on the ice here. So that's exciting times. And I think what the draft does for us, and once the draft day is over for us, we have a pool of players. We don't there's not a 10th round pick or a 12th round pick. We've gathered a group of players. Once the priority selection's over, once the U18 draft's over, once the import draft's over, they're all our players. And then from there, it does, when they're in training camp, they don't have what round they were drafted on their jerseys. If they play an exhibition games, it doesn't have that they were a 12th round pick, a 15th round pick. It doesn't matter. Once we get these players here, the draft just facilitated that. It just got us a group of players that we can call Oshawa Generals. And then it's up to the players. And, some have a shorter window than others to come in and impress the coaching staff. But really, like I said, I always put our staff up against any. And there's a lot of real good scouts in this league that, spend thousands of hours in the rinks from all our teams. But I really like what our guys did this year. I'm really, really proud of what they did, actually.